Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. To my pre-existing subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing one of my visions that I had years ago, well before I started the channel. It's going to be in regards to a border wall, but not in the south, not the southern border wall of the United States, but the northern border wall. We'll talk about that in today's video. This video is just for entertainment, for educational purposes only as well. And if you want to help out the channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, sharing this video. Others really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. This video is being recorded on Tuesday, September 30th at 4:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this specific video. By engaging with the channel and engaging with this video in any particular manner, really help boost the algorithm and show this video to more people. Anyway, I do want to acknowledge my subscribers from last week who have done just that. We have our community spotlight because it is Monday. I want to acknowledge Barbara W., Judy Sibley. We have here Taurus 16, Almanese B. I believe I mispronounced your name, so I do apologize, my love. And we also have here Dorian. So thank you all of you guys who have participated and helped the channel grow in some capacity. Thank you. It does not go unnoticed. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. This video, again, is just for entertainment, for educational purposes only as well. Alright, so part of the whole thing that we're talking about in today's video is going to be in regards to the vision that I had years ago. This actually took place around the same time that I kept getting the word the golden circle, the golden spear, and I kept seeing it giant domes around the United States. I gotta go ahead and find that video. I know I mentioned it either in the year 2021 or 2020 on video. I just gotta find that clip and repost it. But anyway, this is a video I've never done before. And I've been kind of debating if I should or shouldn't do this video. But in light of things that have come to revelation and suppressing a lot of this intuition, gut that I had, these visions that I foresaw, I think it's time that now it's time for me to start revealing that regardless of the repercussion. Even though I have been doing just that, I feel like we're ready now as a collective, as a society, that there is something that's coming down the pipe. And I'm sending love and light to all of you guys, and obviously we are going to be safe, we are going to be protected, but it is important for us to get that warning, that awareness out. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware this is not a video intended to scare you in any capacity. It's a video intended to warn and to shed light and preparedness. So what I ended up seeing, what I kept seeing, like this wall, and they kept saying don't focus on the southern wall. This is in my vision. They were saying, don't focus on the southern border. There's nothing there. It's like all facade. Focus on the northern border. There's something there. There's all the problem that they say is happening in the south is actually coming from the north. Ironically enough, it's coming from the north. Which I think it's a little weird, but they're saying that something is allowing them that free, full access. So while they're distracting you, focusing you on the southern part of the region, it's actually coming from the north. Like that's how they're describing it. But then here's the kicker. It came in and said, we are going to also prevent people from leaving the country. So I wonder if them saying that, oh, things are coming in from the north and it's actually don't focus on the south, I wonder if that is a form of justification to not only lock American people inside the country, because there's a wall on the southern border, now there's going to be a wall on the northern border. I oftentimes wonder if that's possible of propaganda to try to get people to be scared not to cross the northern border, to try to prevent people from seeking refugee status or even better yet, asylum status. Now this is kind of like where Americans are at this point in time. They are leaving the country in droves to go to Canada because they're not happy with the Trump administration. But what I want to know is, what does Spirit really mean by that? What does Spirit mean by the northern border wall, right? Was what they were talking about in regard to them saying that whatever they're saying about the South is also going to be told to the American public. It's also happening in the North, right? And then they're also saying that you're going to use this wall to prevent people from leaving the country. I wonder if that is just propaganda to keep people in, to justify an action or a reasoning by explaining to the American people in a false manner why the wall is going to be built there. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so Spirits and Angels, tell me, why did you say in the past, or in my vision, why did I get a vision of the northern border wall along the United States and Canadian borderline? Why, what did I get a vision on that? I'm hearing the word control and dominance. The bottom deck here, we have the Seven of Pentacles, right? Looking at options, weighing options. The top of the deck here is the Four of Swords here. That means political turmoil. So there's something happening in the United States. This doesn't mean it's going to happen under Donald Trump's presidency. This is just a vision that doesn't specify its time frame. But it does specify that there is issues within the United States that's either framing Canada as this new way of how people frame Mexico. It's to tarnish the nation's reputation within the jurisdiction of the United States. Or it's better yet, either used as propaganda to get people to be fearful of going to that country. So, Spirit Angel, tell me more about this northern border wall vision that I had years ago. Tell me more about this and why is it important for me to talk about? Okay. Okay, so it's also because of ideological differences. Ideological differences. This is the Chariot running away from the storm, right? Running away from the storm. And what's behind the storm? We have the optics. Things are not as they seem, so running away from the storm, so people are running away. And they're not happy about that because they cannot control people who run away. So for example, the best way I'm seeing it is like a little mouse who is in an experiment, escaped the experiment or escape the lab, and they can't run proper tests on this rat because, well, they don't have a testing subject. In the government's eyes, they see the American people who are leaving as testing subjects, and them leaving no longer gives them the capability of control or jurisdiction. Because at the top of the deck here, we have the Knight of Swords, the Purple Heart, but also it symbolizes injury, right? And we have here fire, injury from the passion, right? They don't want them to leave. They're going to handicap them in a way that slows them down from getting from A to B. I wonder if that means that the United States might close its borders. That could be what this wall is. It doesn't necessarily mean a physical wall, but maybe it's a wall of closing the borders indefinitely around the United States, isolating the United States from the outside world. Here we have is the Six of Cups reversed. Now this card, when it's upright, means the past administration. This is indicating a future endeavor, a future policy that has not yet been enacted by the United States, which tells me in a future outcome it's going to be picked up. Because it's going to come at a time with the Knight of Coins reversed, at a time when things are not as risky. I don't know exactly how to explain that, but that's what I'm getting. I'm getting it's going to come at a time in a future administration or a future policy that doesn't appear quote-unquote risky. Which means that if something doesn't appear as risky, I oftentimes wonder if maybe they're using propaganda or the media to spin a certain narrative. Then once people have become so desensitized to that narrative or have accepted the new truth or the new lie, then they can be able to do whatever action that they want to do or the agenda that they want to bring forth. So I wonder if that's what it's indicating. Again, we're just trying to break down what my vision was, what it could mean. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. If you have pendulum or tarot card, by all means, go ahead, knock yourself out. So going back into the reading though, we have the Strength card and the World card. And the World card means reverse, so the strength upside down, which means this is the strength of the United States. Because we know this is indicating the United States and not Canada, it's particularly for one reason and one reason only. The United States is under Canada in terms of its geographical location, its map discrepancy, but also its power and influence, and its ideological, right? So we're saying here that the strength of the United States is below the border, below that wall, because they're the upside down world. They're the complete opposite of what Canada is now. And here you have is Harry Potter. Harry Potter is like indicating that magical, that whimsical, that vibe of all good things, right? But even though this is what was promised on paper, the woman who wrote it, not as nice, not as kind, not as loving. This is somebody who's hateful. This is somebody who is rude, who is mean, who is controversial. But yet her book is a different story. Because in the end, it tells us that what they're portraying to the public, to the American people, is different than what really rooted in reality. So whatever is being told to the American people, whatever is being fed to the American people, is not rooted in truth. It's rooted in lies. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier about the ruining of a country's reputation within a certain jurisdiction or a certain area or region. So what I'm getting here now is clear as day is that a future administration or a future policy is going to be enacted that is low risk because of the high propaganda. They're going to use propaganda to misguide the American people with lies and falsehood about a specific nation, specifically Canada, to the point where they're going to use it as a form of justification. That American people have become so desensitized to the truth that they became so accustomed to this new lie, this new norm, because they don't have any sort of outside influence to change that, because that's what the media is telling them, so they're going to have no choice but to believe it. And because of it, the Queen of Wands indicates a false lie or false reputation about the nation above the United States. Now, here, the next card that follows is we have the Five of Swords reversed. And the Five of Swords is a very interesting card because it means not walking away, not giving up, not backing down, right? But this is somebody who's not backing down, someone who doesn't get the cue. And why? What is not being, what cues are not getting? Well, here we have is the National Security Agency, right? The IRS, no, not the IRS. I don't know why I said that. The National Security Agency, right? The FBI, stuff like that. This is prudence. Number 23. Very interesting because number 23, when you add the 2 and 3 together, it means 5, which means great change, growth, transformation. This is what the card indicates. It also indicates lavender. Now you see this guy who made the puzzle, but he did the game. This is the part of the game. This is part of the cycle. The cycle is to isolate American from the world. And the last effort to do so is to cut off the freedom that Americans need to be able to get to A to B. So essentially freedom, or in this modern sense, people trying to escape the oppression and go to a freer nation, they're going to cut that. And they're going to use reasoning and propaganda to be able to do just that, to justify why they cut it off, to scare those people away from going towards that sense of freedom. And here you have is the Wheel of Fortune. The Democrats are playing the cards, the Republicans are in the motion. Right? The Democrats are here. Right? They're telling you what the cards are. But they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. They're not doing anything. The Republicans are the only one actively moving besides the monopoly. And they're moving the wheel, the money, the flow of money. So what is happening here? What's happening is they don't take social cues. They don't take the cues of what is going on in the environment around them, right? The world around the United States. Here you have national security. They see this as a game, something fun to be played with. And here cutting off the last sort of Americans able to escape the United States. And here you have the Wheel of Fortune. The Democrats are just sitting there doing nothing. The Republicans are moving. They're running the government. And here you have is the Lover's card, which tells us the unity. Part of the reason why they're going to do this, they're going to do this in a way, in an attempt to stop the LGBTQ plus community from finding a safe haven, to find safety before it's too late. And that's kind of like what I'm getting here. That they're going to use gay people or LGBTQ community as a form of propaganda and justification, saying that, Canada is poisoning the American people with all these LGBTQ ideology. We're going to build a wall, or we're going to stop any sort of immigration from the United States to Canada and vice versa, so they stop poisoning the blood of the American people. Again, this video is just for entertainment, education purposes only, but that's kind of like along the line that you can expect. Coming here as well as we have the Ace of Wands, this is coming in with a proposal. This is a proposal. This means this is a plan that's set to be emotional. It means it hasn't happened yet, but it's on its way. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this thing that I just talked about could become reality. Because we have the Knight of Pentacles, means a proposal, again, an opportunity coming in the future. This is a proposal that's being given, an offer, and here is money waiting for it to be enacted. And then it's being challenged by the Two of Swords, which means the boogeyman awaits. The boogeyman awaits. What is on the bottom of the deck here? We have the Seven of Pentacles, looking at your options. And on the top of the deck, we have the Four of Swords. So this is not a good thing for the LGBTQ plus community, because that's not good anyway. Let's just go ahead and let's take a look. What are the likelihood chances of something like this occurring? And then I'll do another video tonight. So if you guys want to drop some of your video suggestions on what to do, let me know. I am a little burnt out in terms of ideas. So just run them by me in the comment section, and I'll choose what one we're going to do. Okay, Spirit Angel, tell me, what is the likelihood chances of this occurring? What's the likelihood chances of what I just received, the information I received in my vision regarding the northern border wall, or this imaginary border wall to prevent people from going from A to B, from the United States to Canada and vice versa? What's the likelihood chances of that occurring? Like isolating of the United States from the rest of the world, or preventing people from seeking freedom, is the better word to say. Okay, card flipped. What card flipped? That's what I want to know. Where's the card? Oh, here's the card. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups reverse. This means union, an agreement or a social contract between two people. This is not a celebration. This is not a business transaction. Okay, so we have the Six of Wands, oppression. I feel like it's a possibility, but it's not set in stone, which makes a lot of sense because it hasn't happened yet. And we're in the very early stages of authoritarianism in the United States. We're almost done, but it feels like it takes a little bit later along down the line. Because remember, it talked about full control of the media. Right now, Donald Trump does not have full control of the media just yet, which tells me this is a little bit delayed. It is not right away. I don't see a wall, so that's a good sign. At least I don't think there is walls in this one. No, there's no walls. We have the Knight of Cups. Reverse is the media. Reverse is the comedians. And here you have Ace of Coins. Reverse is Bitcoin. This is money. It's a computer. So media and computer. Influence. Communication. Let me see if I can pull out my deck for the border. For the border wall, immigration. This is a form of immigration, but it's like not people immigrating to the country. It's leaving the country. So Spirit Angel, tell me about the plausibility and possibility of a border wall, an imaginary wall to stop people from leaving or entering the United States from the northern border, also known as Canada. What's the likelihood chance of that occurring? Okay, bottom of deck here, we have the Eight of Cups. This is the White House. They need full, complete control of the military. So this tells me if anything was to happen like this, it would have to take place when they have full control. When they have full access to the money, they can dictate where the money is. So this is when the White House holds the economic purse. Right now, the White House does not hold the economic purse. It's trying to. It's not there yet, if anything makes any sense. Okay, so there is nothing here of a wall, so that's a good sign. So the telling me this is not a physical wall, but it could very well be an imaginary wall or a wall to prevent people from escaping the country. right? I keep getting this repeat. I keep getting told this. The Underground Railroad, kind of similar to something like that, where people try to escape from the south to the north for freedom. In this instance, it's the same concept because if everything's repeated in the United States, it can be the United States as an entirety being, what do you call it? This oppression, and then Canada being known as freedom. Follow the Northern Stars. Kind of same thing like that with Harriet Tubman. Actually, Harriet Tubman. Didn't I do a video on Harriet Tubman? I feel like I did. Harriet Tubman. I know I did something with her in the past. Let's see, where is she? Tubman. I hope I spell it right. I spelled it with one B. Tubman. Okay, now her. Women of Spies. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, so I did it. So this one is in regards to the Bernie Sanders resistance leader video. I'll put this in the link in the description below. I made this video back in March 12th, 2025. And you can see here it says Bernie Sanders, the resistance leader, Women of Spies, Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman. Go ahead and watch that video. I don't really know anything about it. Don't really remember. I just know I did Harriet Tubman. I kept getting indication this is something in that formation, but modernized in a sense. But going back into the reading though, what's the likelihood probability of something like this occurring? Well, the first card that comes in is the Two of Cups. This represents that this is not a social contract or an agreement between the American people and its government. It also is, I'm also hearing as well, it's not an agreement between the American people and the Canadian government because obviously they did not elect the Canadian government. So keep that in mind as well. It could be both, or it could be both at the same time. We have here as well as we also have the Six of Wands here. This is a form of oppression and them trying to escape from that oppression or authoritarian regime in the United States. Here you also have here underneath this Two of Cups reversed is the breakage of the social contract or an agreement between the collective. We have the Four of Swords here. This is reversed. It's telling me that there is no attempt at this point in time for a resistance movement among the American people to resist what the government is currently doing. Underneath the Six of Wands here, we have the Queen of Cups, the restriction or limitation of women going out to speak. So there is going to be a chokehold on women, particularly, so maybe that could be what's driving women out of the country into Canada for quote-unquote safety. And maybe impossibility, because remember, a lot of these people who are currently in position of power believe that they are inferior. They believe that they are superior to women, and they believe that women are inferior, and that they are below men, and that they remain second to men. And that's kind of like where we're at the moment. It feels like there's a restriction of women's right to speak, and I wouldn't be surprised if a large amount of women are escaping up north, and the men who think themselves as alphas see this as a threat, and they're going to try to stop it by creating a barrier to prevent people from going over the border. I wonder if that could be what it could also be indicating. We also have here as well as we have the Four of Coins here, the Four of Coins reverse, is that people are not going to be looking away. They're going to be watching very closely. This is the military service guy, and somebody's walking away. He's paying attention, but the military man is a facade. He is not being genuine with his intentions. When we start to look at his placement here, the first card that falls on top of the Two of Cups, what we have here, we have the Prince of Wands. And the Prince of Wands is Paul Ryan. This is a guy, a Republican, who was Speaker of the House at some point, was in Wisconsin, and is now reversed. It's saying that there is no step back. It's all in or all out. Like, that's what it's telling me. It's telling me in all answer. The Republican cannot back out of this. He's already in motion, that they planned for this. So it feels like in some way the Republicans can't back out because they're already too far in. We have here on top of the Four of Swords here, we indicated and talked about how there is not a resistance to stop Trump at this point in time, or stop whatever is happening in the United States around the time in which this is supposedly taking place. Again, I don't know why I'm using Trump because we don't really know the time frame here, so I do apologize. But it does come here with the Tower card in reverse. A big, massive shakeup is about to occur. And it's going to change the trajectory of the United States as we know it. Because you're asking yourself, well, why are these people running away? They're running away from this oppression and they're trying to seek freedom. You see this girl here? She's not running towards the American flag. The American flag is behind her. She's running what's in front of her. She's running in front of her, and here you have the sun. The brightness is behind her. And so she's going to enter a period of darkness, but she's going to end up seeing the light from the other side. Because the light is not in the direction of the country, but it's in the direction of where she's heading. It's going to be the light that guides her forward. As long as she doesn't look backward, she can get there. That's why the sun card comes here, and it falls on top of the 6 of wands here, which means oppression, running from that oppression. We have here as well the Queen of Cups reversed, is that restriction of women right to vote. This also talks about the feminine energy, right? We talked about Aquarius being the rise of the feminine, the rise of women, and this specifically targeted the LGBTQ plus community as this form of justification for doing this on the northern border. The Queen of Cups is telling us here that because it's on top of the Strength card means nevertheless she persisted, which is Elizabeth I, it's reversed, was saying that she needs to move. She gotta keep moving. And there will always be people who are willing to suppress you. You gotta get moving. You gotta start speaking now, because eventually, once the LGBTQ plus community is gone and they've been targeted, you're next on the chopping block. So what does this mean? It means that right after the trans, the Latinos, the blacks, and the gays, the last final block will be the women, because there will be no one else to speak for them. And what are they saying here? The women need to start speaking now, not later. And what's on top of all this, we have the Hermit. Remember, interestingly enough, I showed you that video, that I just posted earlier, back in March 12th, and I talked about how Harriet Tubman and had Bernie Sanders in the center, and here you have the Hermit card with Bernie Sanders leading the way. It's reversed because Bernie Sanders, it can only take you so far. You need to be able to find your own way. You need to be able to find your way there. Find your own light, because remember, the light is in front of you, not behind you. You can escape if you can, but there's a limit. There's a limit in this escape. And here at the bottom of the deck, this is the Prince of Pentacles, right? This is once they hold on to power, once the authoritarian takes full control of the money, the purse, anything and everything can happen. And what's behind him? We have here the elections, right? You can have this, or you can have this. Well, what one is better? What one's more convincing? What life do you want? I think we all know. Do you want to be hunted and become the predator? Or do you want to just live free and happy? I think the options are there. I think you know exactly what you want. The bottom of the deck, though, we have the 8 of Cups, right? He needs to overtake the military. So not only does he need to overtake the economic purse in Congress and allocate that to the executive branch, but he also needs to overtake the military in its entirety. And here you have Elon Musk in reverse with the 3 of Wands, which means rocket. It's not going to be as strong of a support for whatever this time period happens in. There's not going to be as much support for that type of initiative. So it does feel like, although they're going to try to justify the northern border, I don't think it's going to go over as well as the southern border did. I don't think it's as convincing. So they have to be able to convince you to believe that the North is more dangerous than the South. But that's what I'm getting. Is there anything else, Spirit? Okay, they said good job. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out. I love you. Drop your suggestions in the video, and I will do another one in a moment right after dinner. Alright guys, I love you.